Hello everybody, welcome back to another video with Lim Reviews. Now today we're going to be checking out a very interesting smartwatch, that is the Xiaomi S1 Active. Now I have not been reviewing smartwatches for a very long time now, so definitely very excited when I had the opportunity to check this out. Prior to this, I was actually using the Amazfit GTR 3, but yeah, because I wanted to check out how far or how good Xiaomi smartwatches has gone, I've been actually using the S1 Active here for close to 1 month now. In terms of the pricing, this watch is retailing here in Malaysia for RM649. If you're in other regions of the world, that is approximately $150 US. So again, in terms of pricing, it is not a very affordable smartwatch. In fact, at that price point, you do have a lot of other options out there. So we're going to find out what kind of features is actually great on this smartwatch and whether or not this smartwatch is actually suitable for you. More importantly, this is going to be my personal 1 month experience sharing with you guys on the S1 Active. In terms of the design, if you take a look at it, it's actually pretty straightforward because it is an active smartwatch, so you do have this very sporty look. At the front, Xiaomi says that this is a metallic kind of frame, and at the sides, everything else is pretty much in plastics. Overall, I think it feels very lightweight, and definitely it was very comfortable on my wrist all this while, so I do not have anything to complain about there. In terms of the buttons, you do have 2 buttons on the right. One is actually your home button, which you can go into your list of applications. The other one is actually a sport button, which is actually a shortcut key that brings you into the list of activities. So again, very straightforward there. Now, operating the watch itself is actually very simple. You just drag down from the top here and you actually get into your notifications. If you drag up from the bottom, this is where you get into your quick shortcut keys, where you can see a couple of pretty interesting ones there. These are actually very useful, so I kind of like the way they are laid out. Now, going back to the home screen, if you just swipe towards the left or towards the right even, this is where you get into your loop of widgets, which is actually customizable based on your personal preference. So I've got mine set up like this. I do have a very quick glance of my overall activities, my heart rate, my amount of sleep, of course a lot of details over here, but everything looks very colorful and nice on this beautiful display, which I will talk a little bit more on later. So this is basically how you operate the watch. Again, everything is very customizable, which you can do so in the Xiaomi app. Since we're talking about the display, I should also mention that this display is a 1.43-inch AMOLED display, and that makes it slightly larger than the Amazfit GTR 3, which is only 1.39 inches. The display-wise, it is a fantastic display. The AMOLED display here is very bright. It has great contrast levels, great saturation levels. Everything can be viewed very clearly on the display itself, so it is fantastic. I think this is one of the best displays on a smartwatch today, so definitely very happy with it. If you take a look at the system itself, it is also fairly smooth, guys. Sometimes on other kind of watches, you notice that it tends to be very laggy and all that, but it is a very smooth experience here on the S1 Active. So again, I got to give props to Xiaomi when it is due. Now, in terms of how it works for your notifications, the good news here is that you do have a speaker on board. That means that you can play notification sounds. I think it's like a small beep, because I've actually kind of turned that notification off because it's very annoying. I get tons of messages every day, so you can imagine the amount of beeps that keeps coming in. So that's that. The good news here is that notifications wise, you do have very good details here. Some of the apps even has that app icon on it, so it's very nice in terms of email. Gmail works right. You have your WhatsApp as well. So I'm not going to go through all my notifications here, but that's what you can expect. The sad news here is that in terms of notifications, you still do not have that kind of emoji support, so that's not available here. But if you just take a look at the text that is available on the display, it's a very readable size. Feels fantastic, guys. A very simple quick glance at all your notifications and all that on the watch itself. Now, I do have to highlight here that notifications do not work very well. I'll talk a bit about the problems at the end of the video, but do stay tuned for that. Now, notifications is notifications, but if you do receive calls as well, it is very good. It does have your caller ID. That means if someone dials into my phone right now, I'll be able to see their name, I'll be able to see their number as well. It's very good to see those kind of caller ID on the watch itself. And the best part here is that because the watch itself acts sort of like a Bluetooth earpiece, that means that you can actually answer those phone calls directly on the watch itself. You have a microphone on board as well as the speakers here. So let's say your phone is very far away from you. You are gardening outside your house, gardening by the way, and then perhaps you receive a phone call. You can just answer it very easily and conveniently on the watch itself, and I think that is actually very great. So that's that in terms of the notifications. Pretty good here, although I did wish to have those emojis built in. Let's talk a little bit more about the activity tracking. For this watch particularly, Xiaomi says that it is capable of tracking up to 117 different kind of sport modes. Yes, if you just take a look at the list itself, the list just keeps going on and on. There's a ton of different kind of activities here. You can even add all kinds of activities to the main list itself. You have your water sports, you have your outdoor activities. There's a ton of activities in here, but the main thing I've been using this for is actually for tracking my runs. Now, the good news about this watch here is that it does come with a dual band GPS built in, so it's actually quite fast and precise. I was actually pleasantly surprised by the watch itself. Whenever I go for runs, as long as it is outdoors and out in the open, you should be able to log on to GPS fairly quickly. It takes about like 10 seconds to log onto your GPS, and I think it is actually quite acceptable as well. Alright, so I'm just going to show you a couple of activities that I did a couple of days ago as well as today. If you take note here, you see I have my outdoor running, I track my walking, I even did a couple of cycling as well, and it was again able to track it very easily and very fast. So this is one of the examples. I cycled for not that far, 1.75 kilometers, and this is the kind of information that you can see directly on the watch itself. I think that's pretty impressive because you don't really need to launch the app itself to find out all this information. Everything is at the convenience of your fingertips. So this is again one of the outdoor runs that I did earlier on. Again, not a very long run, just a quick jog. Took 15 minutes to do it. You can see the amount of cadence, your pace, your speed, your heart rate. Again, everything is very nicely viewable on this absolutely fantastic display here, which I think is quite good as well. So that's the kind of expectation that you can get in terms of tracking your activities. Now, in terms of your health trackers, it does track your all-day heart rate. It also tracks your SpO2. It also tracks the sleeps at night and your stress level. So I noticed that for the sleeps itself, it was quite accurate. So again, I'm going to show you one very quickly. This was my sleep last night. Now you can see that the time I slept was 4 a.m. and I woke up at 10:30 in the morning. It is a holiday here, so I was playing some games late at night. So that's why I have this kind of thing. But you don't really see the entire deep sleep, light sleep kind of thing. For that, you actually have to launch the app itself, and this is where you get into the app itself. By the way, I'm using this on an iPhone just to let you guys know as well. So I'm just going to go into the app here very quickly. You can see that for my sleeps itself, this is the kind of sleep. So more information can be found in the app itself. It does show your deep sleep, your light sleep, as well as your rapid eye movements at the bottom. So again, that's that in terms of the health trackers. Now, overall, in terms of your battery life, how does battery life really works here? According to Xiaomi, it can go up to 12 days on your normal use. Me personally, I think 5 or 6 days is actually more logical, which is the kind of battery life that I'm getting. 5 to 6 days, guys. It's still quite acceptable because you don't have to charge every day. In terms of the charging speeds, yes, you do have to charge it using this puck, and it takes about 2.5 hours to charge it from empty to 100%, which I think is also fairly decent. It's much faster than a lot of other smartwatches out there, so I don't really have an issue with that. But yeah, battery life wise, I expect it to be close to a week depending on your personal usage. Alright guys, so at the end of the day, is this something that I would actually recommend to others? I did mention one critical issue earlier on, and that is actually in terms of its ability to sync with my phone. Now, I have a ton of issues with the connectivity here. So, for instance, it is able to sync to my smartphone, and it is able to maintain that connectivity for a couple of days. But after that, somehow it tends to drop that connectivity, and I will not receive any of my notifications into the watch itself, and I found that very frustrating. Apart from that, I noticed that the app itself, if you want to transfer a watch face to the watch itself, it will take a very long time to transfer the watch face, which is again is a bit annoying if you like to change your watch faces very often. Speaking of that, you do have a fair bit of watch faces in the watch, so you might want to be changing it quite often. The connectivity issue is the main thing that is bugging me right now. Other than that, it's actually a very perfect smartwatch in my opinion. Again, the price of RM649 or $150 feels a little bit steep to me, but again, you're getting very similar features to the Amazfit smartwatches of today. Otherwise, if the connectivity is perfect, it might work better on Android devices, so that might be that. But yeah, if that is actually fixed, I think this would actually be a very, very solid smartwatch to, you know, purchase today. Hopefully the price does comes down, because again, 650 is a bit steep. Maybe about 450 ringgit would be more appropriate for this smartwatch. But yeah, this is just my personal thoughts with the Xiaomi S1 Active. I hope you like this review. Again, I definitely hope I will be doing more smartwatch reviews in the future. It's just that I haven't been trying out a lot of smartwatches lately. But yeah, I hope you like this video. Don't forget to drop a like, sub to the channel if you want to see more content like this. And I hope to see all of you guys in the next one. Stay safe, everybody. Bye.